So last time I was here, I spoke on the rich young ruler in Luke 18. Oh, my voice lasts.
Yeah.
And it was really a story that I said that we could identify with, because basically all Americans, at least most Americans I know, are motivated by those same things. Motivated by money, by the desire to look and feel younger, and of course for power, personal power. That's why you get better phones. And so you can really put Americans or yourself in that story. And what I want to do is set the scene. So you have Jerusalem to the southwest, about 20-25 miles. There's a road coming down from Damascus, and you're on the road from Jericho to Jerusalem. That's where Jesus is. It's about like going from Little America to here, about the same direction and distance and everything. And that would take a 33-year-old man a day to walk. It's 20 miles. 3 miles an hour, it's up to 7 hours. You're in a slow walk. Now, an old guy like me might take 2 days with my knees and all, but you know, Jesus wasn't pushing 70 either. So that's this thing. So they're coming along as this carriage drawn by 2 chestnut mares, and you have the rich guy on there, and he calls out, Jesus, well, Jesus is over here someplace, and the disciples are over here, and then you have kind of a crowd over here following Jesus. So that's the picture, okay? And the rich guy says, what do I do? What do I have to do to attain heaven? And basically, Jesus answers the question. Not exactly, but he kind of does. He says, well, you got to obey the 10 Commandments, and you particularly have to start loving God when you love your stuff, and then follow me. And really, that's true today. However, the problem with that is that Jesus didn't really answer this question particularly, because the guy asked about what do I do to attain eternal life? And Jesus, when he answered the question, he answered, here's what you do to enter the kingdom of God. And I'm going to talk about that today. And I have so what I want to do is pick it up at verse 24. And today I'm using the IYFV version.
What's that?
In your face version. At least for this first part. And Jesus said, this is verse 24 in Luke 18. And Jesus said, how hard it is for an American, notice the change. How hard it is for an American to enter the kingdom of God. For it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for an American to enter the kingdom of God. And the people around them were stunned. They said, well, America is like, that's the blessed country of all the world. If they can't get in, then who can? And if you remember nothing else from today, you remember this. Jesus said, what's impossible for people is possible with God.
Yes.
Amen, that's right. So, I couldn't help but notice those two things, the two things in this verse here. Well, I guess I got to keep on one verse. Peter said, behold, we have left our own homes and followed you. And he said to them, truly I say to you, there is no one who has left house or wife or brothers or parents or children for the sake of the kingdom of God, who will not receive many times as much at this time, and in the age to come, eternal life. So he's saying, yeah, you have to give stuff up, like your house and your home and your wife and stuff, if necessary. But don't worry about it, because you're going to have much more blessings because of following me than you have otherwise. And besides that, you're going to get heaven. That's my own translation there. But the two things that stuck out at me were the fact that he kind of emphasized the kingdom of God as opposed, just like that was on his mind, the eternal life stuff. To him, the kingdom was the important thing. And the second thing was that, we haven't gotten there yet. He took the 12 aside and said to them, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and all things which are written through the prophets about the Son of Man will be accomplished. For he will be handed over to the Gentiles, and will be mocked and mistreated and spit upon. And after that they have scourged him, they will kill him. And on the third day he will rise again." Well, the thing is he says, all things which are written through the prophets. And then he names 3 or 4. Well, when I read that, I could name 5 or 6. And he only named 3 or 4. So I was thinking, well, maybe it'd be interesting to look at some of those. And I know some of you maybe have these lists and stuff in your own possession, but I wanted to list a few just in case we forgot what some of the prophets were. Now, this doesn't even include, I guess I'm including when I talk about them. Anyway, it doesn't even include the ones that are already fulfilled. Like he was born in the city of David, Bethlehem. He was born of the Virgin. He came out of Egypt. Things of that sort that are already been done. Because he's talking about I have to do this. And also about his ministry, that he teach in parables, and that the parables would fall on deaf ears, and that to be somebody ahead of him crying in the wilderness, and all that stuff. There's lots and lots and lots that have already been accomplished. I'm just talking about the ones that would be in the last week. Because he's 22 miles away there from Jerusalem. He's on his way. He'll be there in a couple days. And so this is going to start. He's got less than 2 weeks left. And so here's some. I'm not going to pretend that this is an exhaustive list because I don't. You might have something that you could add to it. Jerusalem will rejoice as the Messiah comes to her upon a donkey. That's in Zechariah 9:9. And of course, it's in the New Testament several places. One of them is Matthew chapter 21, I'm sorry. They will plot to kill God's Messiah. That's in Psalm 31:13. And also then in Matthew 27:1. He will be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. That's in Zechariah 11:12-13. And in Matthew 27:6. Everyone will abandon the Messiah. This is Psalm 31:11. And Mark 14:15. The Messiah will be mocked and abused. That's in Isaiah 50:3-6. And Matthew 27, verses 27-31. The Messiah will be quiet before his accusers. That's in Psalm 38:12-13, and Matthew 27:12-14. The Messiah will be scorned and forsaken. That's Psalm 22, verses 1 and 8. And Matthew 27 again, verses 43. The Messiah will be our Passover lamb. That's in Exodus 12:21-27. And 1 Corinthians 5:7 mentions that. None of the Messiah's bones will be broken. That's in Exodus 12:46, I believe. And in John 19:31-36. The Messiah's blood will be spilled for atonement. That was in Leviticus 17:11. And in Matthew 26:28. The Messiah will cry, "Into your hands I commit my spirit." That's Psalm 31:5, and Luke 23:46. The Messiah's thirst will be quenched by vinegar and gall. Psalm 69:21, Matthew 27:34. They will pierce the Messiah's hands and feet. Psalm 22:16, in John 19:36-37. They would cast lots for the Messiah's clothing, Psalm 22:18, and John 19, verse 23-24. The Messiah would be killed like a criminal, but buried with honor, Isaiah 53:9-12, and John 19:40-42. The Messiah will not see decay, Psalm 16, verse 9-11, and Acts 2:31. The Messiah will conquer death, Isaiah 27, verses 7 and 8, and 1 Corinthians 15:54. And Messiah will be resurrected, Job 19:23-27, and John 5:24-29. And again, that's not necessarily a complete list, but it's more than 4. So you see what Jesus is facing here. So he says, all things which are written through the prophets about the Son of Man will be accomplished. He will be handed over to the Gentiles. Do you understand that? He will be mocked and mistreated and spit upon. You understand that? And after they have scourged him, they will kill him. And on the third day he'll rise again. And Peter jumps up and says, yeah, we know that, Lord. And that's not what happened, is it? They didn't know. They didn't understand it. And the thing is, before we start sermonizing about how Peter is stupid and stuff, we have to read the next line. But his disciples understood none of these things. The meaning of this statement was hidden from them. They did not comprehend the things that were said. Now, why would Jesus say something like that and hide the meaning? Well, I have a few things to say about that, and I have some basis for it. But I believe that the purpose of prophecies that talk about future events is not to try to predict what's going to happen. Instead, the purpose is to be able to look back and say, wow. And I'm going to say it again. The prophecies from Isaiah, Jeremiah, the prophecies that Jesus is talking about here, the prophecies of Revelation and Daniel, they're not meant to try to predict future events. They're meant to be able to look back and say, God is faithful. Because that increases our faith. Now, of course, there's a forward-looking aspect. You know, when it was predicted the Messiah would come, it was something to look forward to. But, and I'm sure people agonize over that too. When's he going to come? I wonder if this is him. That kind of stuff. And predicted it for maybe hundreds of years. You know, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But I lost my train of thought. I better keep my note here. Sorry about that. But the events described, and if you think about Revelation and Daniel, they're not really described in a real understandable way.
No.
And so maybe they lend themselves to speculation because of that, because of what people are curious. But they're not there to assuage our curiosity. They're there to increase our faith. And so Jesus, when he told them this, he wasn't doing it so they get all uptight about who was going to do the flogging and how many people were going to flog him and how it was going to come about, and who would do the spitting, and if there'd be any overspit that they hit on them, and how far the spit would go. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And that wasn't the purpose of him saying that. Okay? The purpose of him saying that is that after all broke loose and he rose from the dead, they could look back and say, wow, it just happened just like Jesus said.
Amen.
And, I'm not making this up. Actually, Peter came to realize this himself, and we can turn to 1 Peter, verse 10.
Which chapter?
What chapter?
I think there's no chapters.
What are chapters?
1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 10.
Thank you.
There's no chapters. Okay. I think it's chapter 1, verse 10.
I think it is one.
Yeah. Concerning this salvation, the prophets who spoke of the grace that was to come to you searched intently and with the greatest care tried to find out the time and circumstances to which the Spirit of Christ was in them was pointing when he predicted the sufferings of the Messiah and the glories that would follow. These are the prophets like Ezekiel or Isaiah. And they searched and they searched and they looked for the times and places and they couldn't figure it out. At the end of the day, they were scratching their heads. And so they asked God, tell me about it. And I'm going to use the, what was it, the IYF version again here. God answered him. He said, none of your business. All right, let's keep on reading here. It was revealed to them, this is verse 12. Now, it was revealed, of course, that means it was revealed by God. So they must have been asking about it. It helped getting all, it must have been in anguish about it. How's this going to happen? Can you imagine how you had a prediction or not a prediction, a prophecy that the Messiah would be coming and he'd be the King of Kings and his reign would never end, and then you get a prophecy from God saying that the Messiah is going to suffer and be a servant and die like a criminal, and you're writing this down and you're thinking, how can this be? How does this match up? So you're going to be asking God, I mean, at least I'm assuming that's what Ezekiel whatever did. How's this working? And he said, none of your business. Well, he says. It was revealed to them that they were not serving themselves, but you, when they spoke of the things that had now been told you. And that's really nice, just a nice way of saying they're really in your business. This is not for you. It was, but God, I'm writing this stuff. If I don't get it, how are the eschatologists and the numerologists going to figure it out in the 21st century? And he said, none of their business either. At least that's what I think he's saying. Okay. Now that was maybe kind of a long bunny trail, but and then it says, the next verse. It says, even angels long to look into these things. So here, if the prophets didn't get it, and the disciples didn't get it, and the Pharisees of the time didn't get it, and the angels don't even get it, what in the world makes us think we're gonna? Come on. Okay? That's the end of that. So that was the first thing. And I'll tie this all together, I hope. So that was the prophecies. Now we're going to take a look at the kingdom. What happened, you see, and maybe it's just in my own imagination, it probably is, but if I'm talking to my best friends about how I know I'm going to die and I'm going to be tortured, I'm going to kind of be a little depressed. And I hate to say Jesus was depressed, but he certainly could have been. I mean, he surely was in the Garden of Eden. I mean, the Garden of Gethsemane, when we was praying to the Father to take this cup from him. So, he's in this funk.
Right.
And then, in this graciousness, the Father sends him a kingdom event. Now, this particular place doesn't say it's the son of Timothy, but in other places it says he's the son of, Bartimaeus, which means the son of Timaeus. Okay? And so he sends Bartimaeus. Doesn't say that's his name here, but from other references. So here he's all in this mood. You can just see his countenance. It's maybe not quite so happy as it was before. And God sends him Bartimaeus. Psychologists today even tell you, they make it up, it's in the Bible, that if you're really feeling down and out, the best way to get out is to go help somebody. Go do something for somebody else. And so God sends him Bartimaeus. It says as Jesus was approaching Jericho, a blind man was sitting on the road begging. Now hearing a crowd going by, he began to inquire what this was. They told him, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And he called out saying, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And this is a point of interest. He was introduced as Jesus of Nazareth. That's a title for a rabbi. Like you might say, what basically name and then the city came from. That's the title for a rabbi. But he doesn't say Jesus of Nazareth. He says, Jesus, Son of David. That's the title for the Messiah.
Amen.
Just so you catch that. So that's an interesting thing. He was introduced as one thing, but he knew better. He said, Jesus, Messiah. And those who led the way were sternly telling him to be quiet. In those days, and I think I've mentioned this before, and some people think that today, too. Many countries have that as their characteristic. We, of course, are too much politically correct for having that opinion, but some people think if a person is sick or poor, they deserve it. That's what they're supposed to be. That's what God wants them. Back then, they were thinking God's mad at you if you are sick or lame or poor, and God's blessing you. God loves you if you are rich and you are strong. And so that's why they just said, well, who can be saved? Because it's the rich guy that can't be saved. And now they're trying to get rid of this dude. But Jesus stopped and commanded to be brought to him. And when he came near, he questioned him, what do you want me to do for you? And he said, Lord, I want to regain my sight. And Jesus said to him, receive your sight, your faith has made you well. Immediately he regained his sight and began following him, glorifying God. And when all the people saw it, they gave praise to God. And I think that that's what Jesus wants us to do too. When we see the need, stop, take time to pray for the person to see if we can satisfy their need. That's kingdom principle. It's counter to what most people want to do. Most people want to kind of back away.
Yeah.
And there's the thing, because most kings, they want your strongest and most beautiful. The strongest men go to the army, the most beautiful women go to the harem, and that's what they want. They call for the strong, the beautiful, and the healthy. But Jesus, you can read this and do it for first stage or something. Jesus didn't come, he doesn't call those people. He calls the weary, the sick, the orphan, the widow, the broken. Actually, that's kind of like everybody, isn't it? But he's not asking for the best, he's asking. I heard once that Christianity is the only group you have to be bad enough to join. I think he wants us to do the same thing. And in this way, God's kingdom is kind of upside down. because all the things that you'd expect in a typical kingdom, what a king would do, are kind of, well, the only thing would be that, of course, the king makes the rules, but other than that, the rules all seem to be backwards. It kind of reminds me, there's another one, I told you I'd come back to the worm. When I was a teacher, back in the 70s and 80s, I taught earth science. And taught the scientific method and stuff of that sort. And so one day, I was having a demonstration, and I had 4 1-liter beakers. And I'm a little louder for you.
Yeah.
4 1-liter beakers. And the first one, I had put a cover on a glass plate, and I put some alcohol in it. And the second one, I put in some smoke. And then the third one, I put in some chocolate syrup. And the fourth one, I put in some dirt. And then I opened up my bag of worms. And I put a worm in each of the containers, put the cover back on. Then went on to talk for the lesson. And about 10 minutes left in the period, I decided to go back to the experiment and see what happened. And so I dug into the first container, and there the worms kind of, these are night crawlers, they were kind of looped over my finger and just kind of looking there. And one of the kids said, "Hey, you killed it." And I said, "Yeah, I guess I did." Tossed in the garbage. And I picked the next one up out of the smoke, and it just kind of looked the same, it wasn't moving. And somebody said, "He's dead too." And I said, "Yeah, he is." And so then I took the chocolate syrup, which was kind of fun because the chocolate was dripping on the floor from both sides of the worm. And it was, and of course, there was, after the laughter stopped, they said, "That one looks dead too." And I said, "Yeah, it's not moving." Left it in the garbage can. And then I took one out of the dirt, and it was just wiggling and wiggling all over the place. And I said, "Okay, now what I want you to do is using the conditions that we started out with and what happened at the end, make a conditional statement about the end result of the experiment." I called him the first kid to raise his hand. He said, "If you drink, smoke, and eat a lot of chocolate, you're not going to get worms." So it's kind of an upside down. I mean, that's not what I expected. And that's kind of God's kingdom. It's not what you expect. So if he says that the way are we ready? If he says that the way to be great is to serve,
Yes.
then the way to be great is to serve. If he says the way to be, or if he says we're strong when we're weak, guess what?
Yep.
We're strong when we're weak.
That's right.
If he says the way to be exalted is to humble yourself, then the way to be exalted is to humble yourself. All backwards is what you'd expect. You know, I remember learning to drive. Yes, I still know how to do that. And it was really, really hard in winter when it's slippery and you start skidding to the right. You want to turn that wheel to the left.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to turn into the curve rather into the slide rather out of it, because otherwise you're going to, work for a world of hurt. But it's natural to try to fight against the motion, but you have to go with it. And I remember learning from a friend, if you're saving somebody who's drowning, and you go over to him and he's flailing his arms, or she's flailing his arms, and they grab a hold of you, what you're supposed to do is dive. You dive down, they let go of you, and then you come up behind them and you save their life. Otherwise, you're both dead. And things are like, some things are like that. Race car driving, I probably don't do that, but I've heard in race car drivers, if they are driving along and they see this high-speed crash in front of them, they go to the crash. Because by the time they get to the cars, they bounce, they turn left or right to go into one of the cars. You're right. You see that actually in Star Wars, where they shoot the other ship down and they go right through it, because all the stuff is blowing away. It's the same idea. So it's not just, that's actually physics behind that. So if he says that you give to get, or if he says to bless your enemies, or to pray for your enemies, I'm sorry, that's just how it is. We're going to argue. So in a way, you almost have to do things opposite of what your natural intent would be. Natural intent would be when you see some bum is to kind of walk around them. It takes practice and training to do what you're supposed to do in the kingdom. But Jesus showed us the way to walk in the kingdom. That's why he was here for 3 years doing stuff. So I guess we can do it too. So here's the thing. Jesus turned to his disciples and told them, and here's why I think his motivation was. He was reminded, he just said, it's impossible for people, but possible for God.
Amen.
He just told the disciples, if you follow me, you're going to heaven. And then, oh yeah, I'm going to go and be crucified. And so he started talking about that because he knew that no matter how hard his disciples tried to love the Lord with all their heart, mind, soul, and mind, all their strength, and love their neighbors themselves, there's, the pride of youth, and there's the lust of power, and there's the greed, the wealth that are pulling them away from the kingdom and pushing against the kingdom all the time. 1,000 other things that are pulling them away. So he knew there has to be one last thing. So it's impossible for people, possible for God, and he's going to do it.
Amen.
Now, if somebody ever told you that Jesus never says he's God, look right here. Read this. Because he says it's only possible with God, and I'm going to do it. Well, you do the math. So now it's time for the conclusion. The man asked, what does he have to do to get eternal life? And it sounds like a single question, but there's really 2 questions there. The first question is, what do I have to do? And the second question is, how do I get to heaven? And Jesus answers them both here. What you do, he says, is you follow me. You do the things I did. You follow me. That's what you do. How do you get to heaven? I'm going to do that, Jesus says. I'm going to do that. I'm going to die for you. I'm going to make the way. I'm the possibility.
Amen.
And so Jesus' life shows us what to do. And his death brings us to eternal life. Jesus does it all, doesn't he? He did it all. And really, this is last time. I think I also said that I was echoing something Peter said, that the gospel has never been believe that Jesus is going to heaven. And the gospel is right here. Because the gospel says heaven came down to earth in the form of Jesus, who showed us how to interact with one another. And then the act, the only way it could have been done, he became the Lamb of God and gave us heaven in this death. And that's the gospel. And that's why it's good news. Because before that, people thought God was always mad at him. But Jesus showed by his life that God is love, that God cares for you. Like we sang today, he's a place that you can cast your fear away and you can place your hope. Jesus, we just thank you so much for your sacrifice, so that we can attain heaven. We thank you, Lord, so much that you showed us how we can get significance here on earth. that we can find joy and peace by entering your kingdom and following your example of love. We thank you, Father, for demonstrating the upside-down rules of the kingdom through the life of your precious Son. We ask for revelation and strength to follow. And Holy Spirit, we thank you for your work in our lives. Help us become more natural in kingdom responses. More like Jesus. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your amazing power and your work in our lives. We thank you for your kindness and blessings. We thank you that you are able to bring us hope through even the hardest of times. Thank you for your love and care. We thank you that you are always with us and will never desert us. Amen.
Jesus, and righteousness.
bless you